Well, what's the word on the storm? It's fading.
Starting to move shit to the left.
It looks like it's going to hit New Orleans.
More towards Louisiana.
I'd hate to see a French water armed. That's a neat place. 23 CR 2076 is now called. The state of Texas versus Jordan Edmondson. That's you?
Yes, sir.
Present with Mr. Lewis, your attorney and the state's attorney. Go ahead, Mark.
Judge, at the last setting, there's some information to the court that my client had been treated as Spindletop as a juvenile, as a minor. Court wanted me to check into that, see what I can find out for the diagnosis of medication.
Yes.
I have been able to confirm that he was being treated for depression there, and it was on a prescription of Zoloft that he was taking for that diagnosis.
Okay.
And that was the extent of his any type of plan or treatments that he was having.
Okay. All right. So anything else to add to that changes what you're going to be doing?
No, Judge. You know, through the bond hearing, Judge, I had asked for the bond to be reduced to 100,000, Judge, and of course you didn't know more about that before making your decision, especially if it could affect any bond conditions or anything.
Okay. Well, so what about his taking of Zoloft in this case at this time?
I don't see it having any bearing to what we're dealing with.
Do you have a prescription for that? Are you taking it now?
No, sir.
What about that?
Well, Judge.
Hello. I mean, that's kind of weird.
Well, Judge, there were some issues with that, with him being brought and treated there by his mother as a minor, something that I will be speaking to the state about. But as far as any type of concerns with him not being on his medication or anything while he's been in custody or anything,
you're saying
I'm not concerned.
That's not a problem.
No, sir.
That nothing to believe that caused his actions.
No, sir, Judge.
You're going to have to help me on this when we look at a bond, among other things, of course, criminal history, circumstances of the crime at issue, criminal history.
He doesn't have any as an adult, Your Honor. I don't remember specifically what he has as a juvenile. I can look at it really quickly for you, though.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Just from my recollection, there is
Little or nothing.
No.
So where were we on this last time? Where did we end?
That was where we end with the Spindletop issue, Judge. And I think that was the last thing that we had put on the record in regards to that. We have for us a plan where he will live, anything like that.
Right now, his bond has been set at $1 million.
I believe it is.
By JP?
Yes, sir.
It looks like he doesn't have a
It's
juvenile
900,000.
history.
$900,000. Fine. Okay, so parties get to add any information to help me on an informed decision here.
I would just like to point out to the court that the victim in this case was shot in the back 8 times. We do not believe that the bond needs to be lowered in this case. As far as we can tell, it was a pretty cold-blooded killing.
And
What about
Judge,
that?
from our position, Judge, there are some circumstances that factually that happened around that situation. Only other witness involved in this case, Judge, is my client's mother. I don't have any access to her. I'm not sure exactly what she's telling the state currently, other than her statement she made at the time. But as far as talking with my client, there are some circumstances that happened that definitely caused the situation to escalate to that point involving the victim. It was more, I believe it was more a domestic situation than what's been told to by
This is all kind of abstract.
Mm-hmm.
That's not helping me understand the circumstances of the crime. I mean, that won't affect my decision unless you want to articulate or detail better. Well, I don't know what you're driving at,
Judge
Marvin.
My position, I think this is more of a self-defense situation, Judge. Like I said, from talking with my client, other family members,
I know, but
situation.
You got to do better if you want. If you're shot 8 times in the back, the self-defense is kind of a weak argument.
Well, I think
because there's no way you're going to be defending yourself
If
if
they-
somebody gets shot 8 times in the
Right.
back. If that's all there is that I'm hearing.
Right, and Judge, I believe it happened after a struggle over a gun, I believe my client in panic. This was a result of that. It's just more things, of course, at this time, I would rather talk more within my client and also with the state who we proceed.
Well, the bond is now at 900,000.
Yes, sir, Judge.
It just doesn't, I don't have anything that helps me change that other than
Right.
abstract statements,
Right.
but
And Judge, of course, in previous hearings, his aunt was here to be able to testify to the circumstances he would be able to be in differently from where he was at the time the offense first living with her. We did ask that the court do consider any pretrial bond conditions in lieu of some relief on this bond, including house arrest or GPS monitoring. He was in school at the time. His aunt has made allowances so he could continue his education even through homeschooling. And so, Judge, we were asking that the court would consider all of that in the interim while
hey,
we're
what day of the week is
proposing.
September 12th of 2023? Please. What day of the week?
It was a Friday, Judge.
He was supposed to be at school that morning, Your Honor.
He was.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's what I'm driving at.
Right, yeah, and Judge, I
But
believe
this happens at 9 o'clock when he should have been in school.
right, Judge.
So he's not in school. What point what is the point you're making? He was in school at the time when he really
Oh, no.
wasn't in school.
Oh, no.
If he was in school, he wouldn't have shot somebody 8 times in the back at that location anyway.
Right, and Judge, as far as that situation was a situation where he had left to go to school, came back home, came back to the house. That's when the arguments and everything happened between him, victim, mother, and it escalated from there.
Okay. Anything else?
Nothing else.
Then I find there is no evidence that leads me to believe that the bond that was set is unreasonable based upon the circumstances of this case. That is, the deceased suffered multiple gunshot wounds to his body at 9:01 is the time that 9 o'clock in the morning on September 12th, 2023, where Beaumont Police responded to the victim of the shooting. Do you have anything else as far as I have this probable cause affidavit, but is there anything else the state wants to help the court with on any kind of other reports?
According to his mother, who is the eyewitness, there was some argument over some money that the defendant believed had been stolen from him. And when the mom walked away to go find the money, she comes in and he shot the victim in the back and in the neck. And he immediately left with the weapon, which we have on the Ring camera footage.
Have you had a chance to see that?
I have seen the footage.
Okay. Then the court, again, the circumstances of this crime are.
Oh, but let me clarify, Judge, the footage is not, of course, of the actual shooting, but just of him leaving.
Okay. Well, it doesn't sound like there's really a witness to the event.
Not exactly, no. She was in the house. She heard the shooting, but she
So
didn't.
we have just somebody shot 8 times in the back.
And from my understanding of the conversation, my client, she was present when the argument and
Okay.
fight occurred.
The state disagrees with that.
Yes.
That is, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm sure whatever statements she made at the time of the scene, I That could help me. Do you have anything?
I have it, Your Honor.
A written report, maybe kind of police officer? If you don't have it, that's okay.
I can't find it right now.
If you can get it to the court,
I will, Your Honor.
but at this time, the court's going to make a finding that there is no information that's new that the court isn't always aware of, other than what was presented here.
Oh, I found it, Your Honor, if you'd like to read it.
You have a number 29, page 29. I'm looking at 30 and it looks like it's in the middle of the statement. This is hard to follow because people's names are not used. We got a cheetah and a lightning. The names they go by that are kind of hard to identify. Well, I'm reading this report the police did, and to say that the household was dysfunctional would be an overstatement. It's more than dysfunctional. All the way around. From what we read there. But what is clear is that 8 shots in the back or 8 shots too many for this court. Anybody shot in the back is a murder, especially if it's 8 times. It's a ruthless murder. and person shot in the back has little opportunity to defend themselves. So the circumstances are such that $900,000, whatever the bond is, seems fair and reasonable under the circumstances the court is aware of. So I'm not changing it. What do you want me to do now? Let's
This on the trial.
set it for trial. It shall be done.
Thank you, Judge.
Anything else? Thank you. Here are these affidavits of indigence that I've approved. Anything else? We are in recess. What time do we come back? 1:30 or 1?
1:30, I believe.